What's up, bro? I'm Kimberly.
I'm Emma.
I'm Kate.
And we're the Film Bros.
We may not be bros, but we're just as annoying.
We're here to talk about all things film, the industry, and us.
If you like what you hear or see, follow the podcast, like, comment, and subscribe.
You can find us on Instagram at thefilmbros.podcast and on YouTube at thefilmbros.podcast.
You can listen to us on your preferred podcast streaming platform. Just search The Film Bros and look for the pink logo.
Lights.
Camera.
Action.
Hey everyone, before we get this episode started, we just wanted to give out a quick trigger warning as we're going to be discussing some topics today that revolve around sexual assault, rape, extreme violence, and abuse. So if that's not for you, no worries. We'll see you next week. Enjoy. Hi everyone. Hello. Welcome back to the Film Bros podcast.
Yay.
I hope everyone's having a good February. I hope you had a good Valentine's Day, Galentine's Day, Broentine's Day, if that's a thing.
Palentine's
Day. That's good. To mark the occasion, we're going to be talking about a director named Emerald Fennell. Might have heard of her. She got this big movie out right now called Wuthering Heights, and we thought it was two birds with one stone situation where we could talk about Wuthering Heights as it's generating quite a bit of talk, some opinions.
Yeah.
While also doing another director deep dive like we did for Lynn Ramsey on Emerald Fennell. As she's a fairly new director. I believe Promising Young Woman came out in 2019? 2018?
2020.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I know. Like, kind of a crazy time.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're going to be talking about her and her films, and kind of like Lynn Ramsey, we'll discuss each one, spoiler warning,
Yeah.
as well as you got to make sure to pick a favorite.
Okay.
By the way, on that note, we have a Letterboxd. I believe it's just called The Film. Let me actually...
I can link it. We can link it to the... It'll be... Search for the description. Links below.
Same logo, too.
Yeah.
It's mostly because of all the lists we have on there. We probably don't log any films, but, like, if you want to see each movie we've talked about in each pod, as well as maybe some of our favorite movies. Yeah. And then I also put in the Lynn Ramsey episode which one was our favorites, individual. And I'll do the same with this one.
Nice.
But anyway, let's get into it. Let's get to know these movies and Emerald Fennell.
Yes.
So, Emerald Fennell first became known as an actress, particularly in films such as Albert Nobbs, where she met Phoebe Waller-Bridge, which is important.
Love.
We'll come back to that.
Oh.
She was also in Anna Karenina. I definitely said that wrong. Karenina?
And Anna Karenina.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. The Danish Girl and Pan.
Pan?
Right? That was a shock. She also gained prominence in the BBC One drama series called The Midwife, well as her other portrayal of Camilla in The Crown. That was her, which is crazy.
What?
Yeah, and she actually received an acting nomination for her role as Camilla, which I had no idea. Just because I think she...
see your face. Yo,
yeah, that's
what?
her. I think just because she's so known as a director now,
Wow.
that it's a bit shocking to see her.
Yeah, that's cool.
To see her as an actor. Throughout this time, this was mainly in the 2010s. She was also a writer. She has published 3 novels. They're dark children's books called Shiverton Hall, The Creeper, and Monsters. I didn't know that.
Wow.
So the way she kind of got into writing and directing was, again, through Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Her and Phoebe Waller-Bridge became really good friends on Albert Nobbs, and they were close friends for 10 years. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge did the first season of Killing Eve. But then for the second season, she invited Fennell to come and write. Nice. And she was eventually promoted as the head writer when Phoebe Waller-Bridge left the show.
Wow. Wait.
Which...
Does that mean she finished Killing Eve?
I believe so.
That makes so much sense.
I never was Killing Eve.
I think someone else took over as showrunner for maybe season 3, but she wrote...
Did it drastically change?
It's like kind of like a bury your gaze ending, because like there's like a queer relationship between this like serial killer and like the person who's
The
like
first season is
hunting
so
her.
good.
And like it becomes like really like evil and gay, and they kind of like corrupt each other a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it ends like really upsettingly.
That's
and
what I've
everyone's
heard.
Really
I've
mad.
only seen the first season.
I never finished it either, but like
Yeah.
I saw how it ended, and I was like, that's
Wow.
sick and twisted.
Fennell had to say about it, she said, quote, "I started in the very early days as a writer in the season 2 writer's room. Because it's such an unusual show, they did a very loose writer's room for a week just to see, and then wonderfully and luckily for me, they promoted me to head writer." She actually got a Emmy nomination as a producer for Killing Eve, as well as for having written the episode Nice and Neat from that show, and that really propelled a lot of her momentum, which led to Promising Young Woman. To start off, if you're unfamiliar with kind of like the Emerald Fennell discourse, because there's a lot, is that she often gets a lot of shit for being a Nepo baby. I couldn't see how her family's related to the industry. I think it's mostly because she comes from a rich background. I saw that her father is a prominent jewelry designer, Theo Fennell. And so a lot of people just generally say, I'm not saying we're saying this, but just so you kind of know why she is such a, what's the word? Big, like,
Figure? I don't know.
figure.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people kind
There's
of
a lot
blame...
of discourse just about her.
Yes.
And like not her work.
They blamed the flatness of her themes on her background, which I don't think you should always do, and I don't know if that's the main reason, but I think that's where a lot of discourse has started.
Yeah.
Again, not what we're saying, I just thought it was important to mention that that's why her name are in people's mouths a lot.
It is kind of cool how like I don't know of many female directors who came up like in like the writing world. Like I feel like the ones I know of like just kind of they started directing
Yes,
and then they got
or they were like just acting
Right.
and then directing.
right.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see someone who's like in the writing room and then like
Yeah.
started to make their own stuff. And like very
Totally.
recently, like 2020, I'm sure they started in like 2018 or something like that. But it's cool.
It's very cool. I thought that was really interesting. I also didn't know she wrote books too.
Yeah.
These children's stories, which are supposed to be like really dark, but they look whimsical. Anyway, so after the Emmy nominations again for Killing Eve, this momentum propelled her to write Promising Young Woman, and I think the release of Promising Young Woman coincided perfectly with not only Lucky Chap Margot Robbie's company who produced it, which is like they were really one of the first big production companies to be like, we're only going to do like female-led TV, female-led movies. And then this also, the script was sold at the same time Me Too and Time's Up happened. So I think like it was kind of like this perfect collaboration. And I think a big reason why the movie did so well, Promising Young Woman earned 5 Academy Award nominations.
That's kind of
Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, which it won for. Best Actress for Carey Mulligan, just nominated. She was great, though. And Best Editing. The Writers Guild of America also ranked the film's screenplay the 23rd greatest of the 21st century. And before the movie was made, the script was on the Blacklist, which is like the script platform of like the 100 best unproduced scripts per year. So let's talk about Promising Young Woman.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, it stars Carey Mulligan as a troubled young woman haunted by a traumatic past as she navigates forgiveness and vengeance. It also stars Bo Burnham, Alison Brie, Clancy Brown, Chris Lowell, Jennifer Coolidge, Laverne Cox, and Connie Brighton. So Promising Young Woman. We just watched it again recently. This was your first time watching it?
Yeah, first time.
How'd you feel?
I don't know. It was not my first Emerald Fennell film. That was Saltburn. So like and then I've like there's all the discourse about Wuthering Heights. So then this was kind of like a post. I don't know. Like I feel like I already knew kind of who she was as a director before watching it.
Yeah.
But I also like know so many people who love this film. I don't know. I have a very complicated, I think, relationship with it currently.
I also do. I know you enjoyed it. I know
Yes.
like you also have your qualms.
Yeah.
But thank you. I'm gonna scooch closer. I I'm trying to like we were talking about this. I'm trying to place like my finger on like what my problem is, because I feel like on the surface it's a very powerful movie. It's like a very I don't know, important movie, like it's saying something, but I watch it and I definitely don't feel what I imagine the movie was making me want to feel.
Something that I found interesting, because I realize all of her movies I have a problem with the ending with. There's so much I like about her movies, and then I realized for each one of them I was like, oh, the ending. She said that the original ending for Promising Young Woman is that Cassie goes and kills all the guys at the bachelor party, but the studio said that was too dark of an ending. What? And that they needed, and so they kind of thought of this revenge plot, like her, like this like backup revenge plot.
How many movies have had like a big killing spree
especially
at the end?
Done by men?
Yes.
John Wick. Hello. That's the whole plot.
Yeah. So sorry.
That's like. I think that sums up one of my bigger problems with the film, which we talked about, is that like in the beginning when you find out that she's like acting drunk to like lure like awful men to like teach them a lesson. Yeah. And before you know what the lesson is, I thought she was killing them. Yeah. I thought that she was
or like castrating them. Like which something that's just fire.
Like, and that's why, like, it was, like, I was like, okay, she's, like, crazy. Like, she's murdering these guys. But, like, you know what? Like, good for her. Like, she's got a vision. She's sticking with it. And, like, I'm with it.
And a lot of the script, I feel like, reflects that. Like, one of my favorite lines is at the end where she's about to write Nina all over the guy's body. Yeah. She says something along the lines of, like, everybody keeps calling me, like, crazy. And I actually think I'm the most sane person.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I agree with you. Like, I think everyone else is crazy, and I feel like what you're saying is like,
I think she could have pushed it further. I think she could have been like literally murdering people, and I still would have been in support of it. Totally. So I think the reveal that she like just makes them feel bad is like. It felt very like anticlimactic.
Yeah. And it feels like she like takes a leap, and then someone or herself is like. Stop. Yeah. Like, pulls her back up.
Which, like, so I kind of wish that it ended with her killing all of them. Right. Because I honestly, it would have made sense. Yeah. And I think, especially with a sort of more tame revenge story to start, slowly... What is squeaking?
Oh, that might be... that might be
I don't know if that's, like, catching on the mic or not, but...
Could you...
Anyway.
Oh, I think it...
Scoot forward a bit.
I'll stop
but it's not you. It's not
you. But like you're so right, because it would have been nice if it's like
devolution.
Yeah, if it's like maybe she's not ready to kill people yet, and then she's like at the end she's like, no, I've actually had enough. Like and you guys don't even deserve to live after this. Yeah, like
I would have.
How is it like too dark to kill a bad person?
Like this is a movie.
It's a film.
Rapist, right? Yeah, and like a horrific rapist,
and all the people involved in that horrific scenario.
Kill them all. This isn't real life.
No,
we can kill them.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be. She's described it as like a revenge film. Like make it a revenge film. I don't know. Like
you're so right, because I feel like John Wick. That's like kind of like one of the most like revenge movies in recent memory. Like he gets to kill over like 200 people per movie.
Yeah.
And you're like,
no one bats an eye.
For sure. Right. Or if you want to compare it to another female protagonist, Kill Bill is a really great example of like a woman-led story. You can have a female protagonist on a revenge plot, and she gets the job done, and it's cathartic, and I feel like I learned something. Like, I don't understand why this character can't do the same.
But that's why I feel like I have a complicated relationship with it, because I was watching an interview with her talking about it, and she said like her approach to this film. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Her approach to this film was that like she wanted to take an ordinary woman, an ordinary quote unquote woman, and like put her into a revenge film. And like what she said is like her instinct wouldn't be to reach for a gun, which like I do also kind of admire the restraint in violence in a film, especially a film that like at its core is about like one of the most horrific acts of violence that there is. So, like, that's why it's complicated, because I also like that it's not centering the violence of the story, but I also feel like that breaks down with, like, towards the end when she's killed, and that's, like, one of the most violent things ever.
It's
like,
a very violent
and
death,
they show a lot of it.
Yeah.
And
it's a long
scene. I was like, I really admire when films don't show the actual like rape, you know, because nobody needs to see that. But then to show her being murdered felt kind of like
suffocated
a step
to death.
Back. Yeah.
Yes. And it's like 2 minutes.
It's
of
really
her just like trying.
But that
horrifically.
But you never know too. Is like I both agree with you and also like play devil's advocate of like maybe that's the point that she was trying to make, where it's like men still get away with it.
Absolutely.
They still get to be violent, and she didn't get to be violent.
Yes.
Like, and she
Which
had
I
all the
understand.
reason to be violent,
Fully.
and yet she still meets a violent end like her friend did.
Yes.
You know, like.
And I forget where I saw this. That like after she dies, we actually don't see her face anymore, which is kind of to represent like how so many victims are like just pushed to the side,
nameless,
right?
Because that's a big theme.
Exactly. But then it kind of just left me feeling how I felt before I watched it, just kind of like helpless and sad. Yeah. So
yes,
I wish. I don't know. I mean, it's a completely different story, like what I wish it was. So
yeah, I agree, and I know I'm trying to also like break down like what the messaging is there, and I know that I'm pretty sure she's spoken about how like you know how she like has to restrain him to like kind of like get her revenge, and like but when it does come down to like the physicality of like a fight between this guy who's like probably fit and like her, you know, that like she's gonna be overpowered, and like that makes sense. Like a lot of violence done against women is because of that. There's like I don't know, like men overpowering women and all that stuff, and I think that that's important to represent. But I also feel like what it's saying is really complicated in that like you can't get revenge, even though she does somewhat in the end. But it's not as cathartic.
A conclusion that I landed at in terms of the catharsis. So one thing that I think is interesting about this film and the events of it is that the film does a really thorough job of kind of ticking the boxes in terms of critiquing how these cases are dealt with. Like it goes through like the school system and how the dean didn't do anything, and then it goes through like Alison Brie's character and her representing how sometimes other women perpetuate this and don't do anything, and then it goes through how like even Bo Burnham's character, who she thought was this great guy, also perpetuated it. Like I think the movie does a great and thorough job of going through that. But then I think that's why the ending doesn't make sense if you follow it up with all that, because like you guys were kind of talking about after we watched it, is like I don't think the cops would just like believe all of this because she sent it to the lawyer. I'm like, I don't think the cops would immediately believe all this, and like I don't think it would play out exactly as it does, like her perfect revenge plot. Like I don't believe the system. Like the movie does such a great job critiquing all of these systems and the way we think about these cases. And then it has like this almost idyllic ending of like, and then in this case, the police does their job correctly. And everything is perfectly, like the lawyer feels bad and he actually sends it to the police and like all of this stuff. And like it just kind of, I think it lets down all the great stuff that was happening in terms of critiquing in the movie. Where I'm like, this doesn't really go along with all the stuff that you were showing.
It puts a face and a name to everything, and then at the end it's just like a couple cop cars showing up and taking them away, and I'm like,
I know.
What does that mean?
So who changed? Like, nobody changed.
And also, they only arrest one guy. Like, Max Greenfield's character, he just runs away. Ryan, he's just standing there. All the other men involved are just there. And they will all get away with it. It's only one man who faces it. And it's like the, you know, kind of like villain of the film. But, you know, it's just one guy out of what we have been told over and over again was an act done by many people. You know? And then only one guy gets, you know, his comeuppance.
I really do. I really think like I really do mourn. I don't know exactly what it would be, her killing every one of the guys at the bachelor party, but I really do kind of mourn what she was saying is seeing Nina's name like on his like that would have been obviously very visceral, but I'm like, I don't know, I think that would be such powerful imagery of this abuser, this rapist having his victim's name carved all over him. Like I think that would have been like I loved that idea of her leading up to that, and then the ending happens the way it does, and it's just like I just think that would have been so powerful. And like it really would have stuck the landing for me in terms of what the film is saying, where like fine, they don't have to die, but like this is somehow
Something.
a worse punishment.
Yeah,
because
right.
it's like everyone will be reminded of it forever, and he will too. And like just that last monologue before it happens is so strong.
It's so strong.
And Carey Mulligan's such a good actor, and like the writing right there is so good. And it's just like,
like I can imagine the movie that this could have been.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
super strong empowerment, like
Yes.
like cult classic, like really, really
Yes.
good, and then it just stops. It just like misses the mark.
Yeah.
It gets tame at the last second.
Yeah.
I do want to highlight all of the wonderful things I really do like about this movie.
Please go ahead.
Because I saw this when it came out, and I've told you guys this, but like in high school when I was kind of discovering filmmaking, and it was like right when Greta Gerwig had released Lady Bird, and then La La Land came out, and I was like, oh my god, filmmaking and like female directors. And then this movie came out, and it was like so cool to me that like a subject matter like this was being discussed so openly and not subtle at all, which some people don't like this movie because it's not subtle, but I don't know, I think it's cool that it is so unsubtle about its subject matter. And some things that I also really love that I think Emerald Fennell is so good at is its casting. I know it's talked a lot about, but I love that she casts a lot of like famous, really likable male comedians that are like really well liked by the public. But then she's kind of saying like,
They're still awful.
yeah. And like I think even that is more of an inspired choice in terms of the theming than the ending is like that casting choice is like, whoa, like, oh my god, you are making me see these guys in a different, like, you are making me think about how I view my relationships and people differently. Like,
I think like Bo Burnham is the perfect example of that,
so
because
good.
he's so charming the whole film too. So like
and
the
we know
reveal,
his online personality, and like he's so funny and he's so likable, and he's an artist himself, and like
There's that theme of like, who says it? Mick Levin says it in the movie where he's like, I'm a nice guy. You know, and it's like, that's always just like a blanket statement of like, okay, so then I can get away with anything. It's like, no.
Yeah, I will say, I think where that fell flat for me is at the end with Max Greenfield, because I love him, but he will always be Schmidt from New Girl to me. And at the end, he's giving a performance that is like, it's literally just Schmidt. Like, I feel like there was no directing going on there with him. Like, he's just like, it's literally, I feel like, just a more toxic version of his New Girl character. But it's like, I don't know, it took me out of it just a little bit right at the end there. Like, I wish he was directed a little bit more different than his New Girl character.
Like, you can see exactly why he was casted.
Yes.
And it's like,
but like for like one of the most emotional moments of the film, and like for the conversation between two men talking about how they're gonna get away with it, to it literally just be like Schmidt from New Girl. I'm like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Like, direct him different or something.
Yeah.
But I do love that she took, like, these, like, funny, charming guys, and then we're like, and they can also be evil.
Yes.
And they often are.
I've never seen, it was just very meta for me watching it, and I've never seen any other movie. I know movies do that a lot with casting choices, but, like, that specifically I thought was, like, the really, like, such a prime example of how to do that so well. Other things I love about this movie, besides Carey Mulligan, because, like, dude, acting nominations so deserved. Every line she says, the way she carries herself, it's just such great character acting from her, and like I love her in this. I love the set design. I love that her house feels like a weird dollhouse, but like all the colors slightly off. Like, I love the scene when Alison Brie comes in and says about the video, and she kind of like looks around and she's like,
it's a crazy house.
Like, where am I?
It's like this weird, like, it's not a subplot, but this, like, when Carey Mulligan just so, like, doesn't care. What's her name? Cassandra? Cassie?
Yeah.
She's just so unbothered by, like, the house around her. And I'm like, it's like an interesting little part of her character.
And it also, like, it reflects off of her clothing. And it was, like, I love the clothing choices in this movie, too, because, like, it was the first time I ever saw, like, an introverted character dress like an extroverted character. And I was like, I don't know, I'm really struck by that, like the dichotomy of that.
You know what's so funny? You guys dress very similarly.
You do.
I'm just
really?
Like all the bright colors, the light wash jeans, the pink shirts, like, that's like your wardrobe.
I did tell you guys when this movie came out, I was really obsessed with doing her nails.
Yeah,
in the movie, because they're just, it's such a great, like, it has the great payoff. As much as I don't like the ending, I think the payoff is really good with the hand. And I just love it.
Oh my God,
it's so good. Yeah, I think this is a great debut. I think it's okay as a director. It's always okay as a director if like to be confused about, some things, and like I think it's a really strong debut. Yes. But it has its problems, and it just feels half baked at the end there. Like
I feel like for me, I think the whole thing feels a little half baked in some ways. Like we talked about this, like I do love the production design, I love the color palette, but I didn't love all the shot types, like the shot choices. I know I mentioned this to you guys earlier, but like that scene between her and the lawyer who like actually does, oh my god, sorry,
which is Alfred Molina, which is crazy,
yeah,
because he's a great actor.
Love him.
Yeah.
But I thought that scene was really powerful because I liked that you do find like a gap in like her pattern, that like there is this guy who's done so much wrong in his life, and he actually knows it, and like I think that's a really interesting conversation to be had. But then we're viewing it from this like weird high angle, like center on him, and like they're not looking at us, like they're clearly looking at like below. But I feel like, and like I guess it's maybe a choice to like not be there with his remorse, but I think it would have been almost more powerful for her to be like with her understanding that like she's not the only one feeling something in these scenarios, like, and for it to be kind of like this random chance almost encounter with this guy she's like going to like hurt almost, for him to actually feel bad. I think that's such a powerful moment for her character, and then we're not even really with her character. And I don't know, that kind of reflects, there's a lot of moments like that, like in the conversation between her and Ryan after she's explaining why she blew him off and then was with that other guy. Yeah. Which, like, I think...
Like, we're very far from her.
We're very far from her. And also, I didn't love the dialogue. But, like, I think that, again, could have been such a wonderful scene of, like, even of her trying to open up in any small way to him and, like, show, like, kind of her growth as she's, like, falling in love with this guy. But, yeah, it's just, like, it's very, like... I don't know, like third party.
I like totally see what you mean. Yeah. However, I actually really like how far we are from her a lot because it feels like, I think a big part of the movie, and especially like when it comes to her relationship with her parents, is that like what happened to Nina and subsequently like what happened to her after that, like completely changed her, like completely wrecked her. And like, again, her acting is so good because you just feel that grief radiating off of her, even if she doesn't do anything. And I personally really like the camera work because it, even in these what should be vulnerable moments, it's like it's not quite connecting with her because of how far she's still, like, it's like as if she's trying to push us away. Yes. Like she doesn't, she's like, she's dealing with it in this certain way, but she still doesn't want to deal it at her emotional core. Like, she'd rather do these actions rather than like emotionally go through with it.
Makes sense. And I absolutely think the film is successful in like showing the like life-altering experience of grief. But I guess where I'm not connecting with it is that as a viewer, I want to feel it the way she's feeling it. I don't want to feel like I'm being pushed away too. Like, I want to feel like it's like I'm being made to feel how she feels in these situations. I want to feel like everyone else is crazy and I'm the sane one. Yeah. I don't want to feel like
I see what you mean. Yes.
You know, like crazy watching it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
there was times when I was like, I'm worried that the camera's gonna get close to her and then I'll be close to her, and like I don't want to be close to her. Yeah. Which I do think that's the effect they were going for. Yeah. But then I also never really felt very connected to her.
Yeah, that might ostracise audiences.
Right. And I think that was intentional. But I am not in love with that choice.
Yeah. I think it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Very well could work for other people.
Right. And I also think like some of the framing, when it was like super low angle with like there was a lot of negative space in the film. Yes. Which, just like you were saying, I didn't vibe with it too much. Where I think it does work is like Saltburn. Like I think she has a through line with how she places the camera. But like this movie, it didn't work for me. Thank you for pushing me back. Yeah.
Well, let's move on. from Promise. Unless you had one more thing.
I mean, I have lots of things to say about this one, but
please finish your thoughts.
Well, two more things maybe.
Yes.
Another thing of like the half-bakedness of it for me was the feeling of how realistically sometimes it portrayed men and how unrealistically sometimes it portrayed men. Like, I think in terms of Ryan's character, I think like that's like a really accurate depiction of a man who like is just able to move on from something really horrible that he's done.
Yeah.
And like you kind of like think he's like all nice and funny, but he's really like,
and he's successful too.
Yeah. But like because he's just able to like forgive himself for it.
Yeah.
And I think, and then sometimes you get like the scenes like where she's with that guy when she runs into Ryan and he's like, he runs away like
he
crying.
Sounds like it's like a parody of what the
and he's
film
like
is.
wearing a fedora. Yeah. I'm like really, like he's running away crying because she said that like he wasn't attractive. Oh no, because she said that there's like other women who do this and some of them carry scissors and now he's like scared. But like I feel like sometimes it like misses the mark on like how men interact with women in public, you know? Or like even like the cat collars and how she just like watches them back and then they just like they get uncomfortable and walk away. Like I'm sure there are people like that, but I feel like no way that's how like real men behave in that situation. Like if she's just standing there watching them, they're going over to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I guess like it's like sometimes it's like extreme in a way to prove its point and sometimes it's not. Yeah. And I think like that's where I'm like,
yes. Like what she's doing with these men is actually like very, very dangerous. Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah.
And seeing it not end very dangerously, it didn't make me feel empowered. It kind of just made me feel small.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, that's never gonna happen. So then I felt powerless. Right. Like realizing that this is incredibly inaccurate. Yeah. Even though movies are fake.
Yeah.
But it's like this other line that I'm connecting with.
I think this movie is like, it's too relevant to the time it came out for it to feel like, obviously a lot of it does, like I'm saying, like I think like the cinematography and the set design definitely makes it feel like movie, like fictional, but I don't know, it's just like the time it released, it feels too relevant and too raw for you to not take it 1,000% seriously and for you to not look at it exactly what it's saying, you know, and maybe that's unfair to do to this movie, but it's also hard not to, especially being a young woman myself, and also a young artist, and being like I take this really seriously and I want to know what you have to say, and like I don't know, but again maybe that's being too unfair to this movie, but that's just I just care too much.
I think I'm with you though, and like obviously everything that I'm saying is really harsh, but you know, such is the job of a critic. What can I say? But one of the biggest takeaways I had, because I'm also like, I think I'm someone who wants to connect with these films and wants to feel like I'm being told something that's for me, is that I felt like this film was like made for men in a lot of ways. Like it felt like it's like, maybe this is a kind of an extreme example, but it felt like something you would like show to like your young son to be like, don't be like this, or like this is what happens to women if you act this way. You know what I mean?
Well, I told you guys
hand-holding for men, but it doesn't feel like it was made for women. That's
how sometimes I feel about Barbie, where I told you guys this, where it's like, I watch Barbie and I still get emotional because it's so beautiful how much it celebrates femininity, and like I definitely like so much of that movie I was like, this was made for me, like it's too girly pop for it to not be. But a lot of the messaging of Barbie in terms 100%. Of how men and women's relationship, it does feel more like this, where it's like hand-holding for the men.
To feminism. Which is fine. I think there's always times and places for that. I think it makes a lot more sense for Barbie because that film's about womanhood. I think it makes less sense for a film that's about rape. I feel like, I don't know. I think, especially for a film that's like a rape revenge film, that feels like something that you want to be cathartic for survivors and or for people in similar situations to Cassie, who know someone whose you know, life was ruined by this like horrible thing. And this film felt like it wasn't necessarily for survivors. It was more so like a cautionary tale for like men. And that is, I think, where my biggest disconnect comes from.
Which I will say, like, I don't think it's bad to make a movie like that. But like I said, it just feels like the time it came out, I think a lot of women are looking for this catharsis. Like, kind of in the same way, not to bring John Wick up again, but he's just such, like, a famous revenge character.
Yeah.
Like, you just get so much catharsis watching that movie, and it's like, yeah, they killed his dog.
Yeah.
Like, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, I want that movie, too.
Yeah.
Like, I want that movie where this woman's like, dude, you forever ruined my friend.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
Like, and again, maybe that's the point. Maybe we don't get that catharsis because it's realistic.
Right.
But...
Yeah, what a complicated.
I digress.
I know.
What a complicated.
I will say,
yeah.
my favorite line is when her dad, I wrote it down, when her dad is talking to Cassie after they meet Ryan for dinner, and, like, she seems, like, happy for once, and he said something about, like, you know, that we loved Nina as our own daughter, and he says, we miss her, Cassie, but God, we've missed you too. And I feel like that should have been a message more in the film, that, like, they get to have their daughter back too,
Yes.
but instead they also lose their daughter.
I
Which is horrific.
Emerald Fennell's writing is really interesting to me because sometimes I'll be watching her movies and I'm like, dude, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. So well acted, it came out perfectly. And then there are some scenes where I'm like,
That wasn't too good.
I don't know if you had intended that to come out like that.
I'm surprised. Maybe I'm not surprised. I don't know. It got a lot of accolades. And
I'm telling you, I think it's because of the timing. Like, I really think it's because of that. Like, and this movie is great, and I think it deserves a lot of the accolades it did. But it's just, like, I remember that time, it was just so rare to have... There's definitely more female directors now, but it was so rare to have one that talked about this subject so clearly, that didn't try to hide what it was. Yeah. I don't know.
It's fascinating.
That's why I thought about it.
Did you have more to say?
No. I have a tweet from Jessica Chastain, but I don't really know how to tie it in.
Well,
I think
let's
share it anyway.
Let's hear
I
it.
was reading it over the corner.
Okay, let me know what you guys think about this tweet.
Okay. This is from
Jessica Chastain.
Love her.
And it's about Promising Young Woman. When violence against women is used as a plot device to make the characters stronger, then we have a problem. It's not empowering to be beaten and raped, yet so many films make it their phoenix moment for women. We don't need abuse in order to be powerful. We already are. Which she tweeted about this movie, but part of me was like, I don't see that in this movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I see it in other films.
Yeah.
But her whole character is getting back at men, which is the point of the movie, but then I also don't know who she is at all without this.
But it also ties into your thing of, like, it would have been really great too if maybe there's a version of this movie where she gets back to herself and gets out of this grief.
Which I think is then this tweet would make sense.
Right,
Yeah.
but also, like, I know that she's saying that doesn't exist for survivors and for dealing with grief, that you don't ever really get back to who you were. That you are changed rapidly.
Yes.
But the fact that she gets no happiness at all, I think is my...
is sad and
sad.
a bummer. And
but
it's like, that's also the point.
it's so hard.
I think this subject matter is so difficult to talk about in art because it's like you see both sides completely. Like, this is realistic, and I think it's great we're showing realism.
Yeah.
But it's like, but we also want catharsis.
But also,
and
like,
we
what
want
are
to
you
feel
saying
empowered.
by that?
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Guys, I don't know.
I don't know.
It did come out in 2018 then.
Oh.
I think it did. I think it did come out much earlier.
Wait, you're right. When I looked it up on Letterboxd, I could have sworn it said 2020.
Young.
It does say 2020.
I remember watching this before 2020 though. Like, I swear
but
to God.
maybe did it only release on streaming in 2020 or only get like
you're right, December 25th. Oh, this is a Christmas movie? That's crazy. 2020.
It was released on Christmas.
This was released during COVID. December 25th, 2020. That's really interesting.
Someone's source is wrong.
I could have sworn.
Nobody knows.
She said it before her time. She was a visionary.
Yeah, she was ahead of her time. She was in one of the early screenings for Promising Woman.
She probably could have been.
She could have been, yeah.
So let's move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 more movies to go, guys. After Promising Young Woman, I didn't know this. I thought this was kind of like a...
Uh-oh.
You know that Bad Cinderella musical that Andrew Lloyd Webber made?
With Camilla?
No. It wasn't the movie. It was...
A musical?
It was a musical that Andrew Lloyd Webber put on in the West End called Bad Cinderella. and it was kind of shit on because it was like really cringe and trying to be like girl bossy without actually saying anything. I thought that was interesting because Fennell co-wrote it.
No way.
And
I
didn't know that.
There's
bad
and
there's a theme.
And I think, but I'm like, oh, that's actually interesting because it's like, I think that it's this thing of like idealism versus reality again of like, we all want to be girl bosses and empowered, but that's also the systems that are in place don't make that the case. And I think it's like, and I think it's interesting that she as an artist explores that a lot, but I don't feel like she has any like a conclusive answer on it.
Yeah. Right.
But again, that's also a discussion to have whether or not artists should have an answer or pose more questions.
Right.
So it's just a big mess. So anyway, I digress. After Promising Young Woman did really well, we have Saltburn. It is set in Oxford in Northamptonshire. It focuses on a student at the University of Oxford who becomes fixated with popular oh my god, I cannot speak today. Aristocratic, is that right? Fellow student who later invites him to spend the summer at his eccentric family estate. It stars Barry Keoghan, Jacob Elordi, Rosamund Pike, Richard E. Grant, Alison Oliver, the daughter, you know who he... she's Isabella in Wuthering Heights, which because I was just rewatching it and I was like, oh my god, that's Isabella. So I thought that was cool.
Also reused Jacob Elordi and Carey Mulligan.
Yes, because Carey Mulligan's in this, and then Archie Madekwe, I think that's his name. I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. Fennell says in writing this film that she wanted to sympathize with unlikable people, quote, the sort of people that we can't stand, the sort of people who are abhorrent. If we can love them, if we can fall in love with these people, if we can understand why this is so alluring, in spite of its palpable cruelty and unfairness and sort of strangeness, if we all want to be there too, I think that's just such an interesting dynamic. And I think that sums up my main problem with this film is I love the first half. Dude, this film hooks me. I'm like, it's freaking beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
I was rewatching again, and I was like, no, this is like some of the best cinematography ever. Like, I love the aspect ratio choice. Again, just like Promising Young Woman, like, I love the costume design. I love the casting. I love the production design. The locations are mwah. I think it's so cool that this was set in 2006 because it really lends like this like Y2K aesthetic, but like posh, which I was like, that's really interesting. You're mixing that. I love the characters. I think they're all like it's like they're all a parody of themselves. Rosamund Pike, she was so funny. I wrote down this quote because I was watching this.
I love her.
She says because she's the mom and she's kind of like crazy and she's very posh. But she's also like you know, gossipy. Yeah. They're all very gossipy. But she says, I was a lesbian for a while, but it was all too wet for me in the end. Men are also lovely and dry.
I love that line.
And it's one of those things where I'm like, this is so funny.
Yeah, it's
like,
so genius.
These characters, like, this is what I want from, like, an Eat the Rich movie where I'm like, it's like a parody and they're satirical and it's like, why is this happening? But, like, you're also lovely. I love the way I don't think Barry Keoghan, I don't love the ending. I have a lot of problems with it, but I do love that he is kind of like secretly sinister. Like before we find out why he's sinister, I like that like he's really playing into all of the gossip of the family. He turns them all against each other. I think that is all shown so well. I love Jacob Elordi's character and how like you can tell that he's like perfection, and then he shows all these inklings of like he has people like Barry Keoghan's character all the time, and he's still just this rich asshole at the end of the day. But it's like, oh my god, that ending just has nothing to say to me. Like, you spend a whole movie demonizing rich people, and then saying like, and then his character, the main character, Oliver, that's his name, right? Oliver. And they're like horrible to Oliver. Like, and they're all imposing their own insecurities on them because they're the ones with power. And then at the end of the day, all of these horrible rich people are, like, victimized. Like, and all of their deaths are awful to watch. And the little guy
is the villain the whole time.
Yes, and their deaths are awful to watch. Yeah. And it's just, like, and you feel bad for them even though they've been horrible. And then the ending just happens. And, yeah, it's flashy. It's, like, shocking. Like, I don't mind, like, I think that's interesting. He's, like, running around naked. I think that has something, that in itself has something to say, but I think the overall messaging of the ending, I'm like, and for what? You know?
Yeah.
And
It's like she starts off with these great stories, and you're like, you've
Right.
got it. You've got the story.
I love these characters,
Just
dude.
finish it. Like,
Yeah.
just put a little bow on it, and
Yeah.
then she, like, unravels the bow and throws it in the trash. And I'm like...
And beneath it is like a spike.
Right.
Yeah. There's like always something hidden.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
mean,
like,
I was
yeah.
confused because it's like the whole time you're like, okay, Oliver loves Jacob Elordi. I forget his name. What is his name?
Felix?
Felix?
No.
Felix. It's Felix.
Or
The
yeah.
whole
Felix the
time
other
you're
one?
like...
No, it's Felix. Yeah, yeah.
Right. You're like, he's obsessed with him. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. And then it's like, he's lying about his home life. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I guess it maybe aids to your character. Like, you're so desperate.
Yeah.
But... No. And then at the
Yeah.
end, he didn't even want Jacob Elordi.
Yeah.
He just wanted the
just wanted the
house.
house.
Yeah.
I'm
just like,
what?
I know.
And it's crazy because, like, I didn't mind how freaky it got.
No.
You know? I'm all for the bathtub licking and, like,
Right,
the
go
period
for
eating
it.
out. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
I'm
mean,
like, girl, do what you
to each
want.
their own,
and I
you
think,
know? Like-
and I think before the ending, I think Oliver's such a fascinating character. And I think it plays, maybe a commentary on incelism or something of, like, you have this, like, outcast who, like, everybody
Yeah.
hates, and then he's actually, like, horrible. Like, maybe it's something like that. But it's like, in the end, it's like, okay, so you killed everybody, and you have this house, and you're rich, and that's it.
I
And
think,
I'm...
like,
yeah,
That's
because
good.
I don't know.
it would make a lot more sense if we were like being dropped clues the whole time, you know? But like because it's like one of those things where I feel like it's like in my mind the motivation is like to like pull one over on you, you know? It's like, oh, well, like secretly this was going on the whole time and only I knew that as the filmmaker, and now you get to find out when I want you
It
to.
feels like,
But like if there were like hints throughout that like he didn't really want any of them, like he just wanted the house, like I don't know, like if I got to be like a little detective, like getting dropped little pieces of it, and like okay, like I'm seeing where it's going, and then you get the reveal and you're like, yes, like I knew I was seeing that right. And I guess like maybe it's not meant to be satisfying, but I guess I don't enjoy being like almost blatantly lied to in the beginning. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, because you're right. It's like you think the whole time he wants Jacob Elordi's character, or he wants like a seat at the table, so to speak, and then like he just wants the house.
Yeah.
And like
And,
then like his methodology is like
okay.
really wacky and random and like
Yeah.
highly convenient for him.
Yes.
Right.
Highly
And he's so
convenient.
sad when Jacob Elordi dies.
yes.
Yeah.
But why? Why?
Why? He
If
killed him.
If he wanted him to die in the first place.
Yeah.
I was going to say something.
You
What
got
were
it.
you saying?
Pulling over, drop clues.
Oh, I feel like if one of us was writing a script and we wanted like a big twist at the end, and we had written it where there's literally no hint that there might be a twist, us critiquing would be like, you gotta drop some
You gotta drop
Yeah.
clues.
like just. And I love when you watch a movie and it ends and you're like, oh, I have to rewatch it right now
Yeah.
because I understand the movie. But I could rewatch Saltburn and it would be the exact same. I don't have a new
Experience,
view on it
Yeah.
because there's nothing satisfying to see.
Nor. And I really love before they get to Saltburn, like I think there's something so interesting about the way Oliver fetishizes Felix and like the way he like is obsessed with him, not just like in love with him, not just like a crush, like there's the and Jacob Elordi's performance and Barry Keoghan are so good in this movie, and they're both so alluring, and they both have these like personalities where you think you have them figured out, and then they do things that are like even before the reveal, like they both have these personalities where you're like, oh, I thought you were just this one way, but then your relationship to each other is super weird. Like I don't know, there's so that relationship in particular is so interesting, and it really just doesn't make sense to me why Oliver is fine. Like obviously he said he's sad when Felix dies, but then he's also like, but it's fine, like
That's
because you're
what you
dead,
wanted.
and that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And didn't he kill him? Doesn't he poison his drink?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
He literally kills
I don't get
everyone.
it.
So yeah.
I don't get it.
And
You think you can't have your cake and eat it too?
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Also, like the very, very end of it, where it's like years later, and he sees the opportunity. Like I don't know, he's so committed to killing all of them in like one stay, and then he waits until the dad's dead to go back
Yeah.
for the rest. Like, why not orchestrate more? Like,
Right.
what's with the time jump besides, like, adding, like, another, like, delayed reaction
Right.
kind
Like,
of thing,
if you're
you know?
gonna be
Like,
a freaky
literally just,
evil
like,
troll, do
right.
it during this one summer.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And he's just like an ungrateful like weirdo.
Yeah.
Like, his family loves him.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
And that's just not.
He's
Yeah.
just weird because
But,
he's
like,
weird. Like,
I think it could have been interesting if again we were like being let in on little pieces of like, all right, this guy's like highly suspicious and like because like the reveal that he has his family and like they're just
So
normal people
good.
is like so funny
Yeah.
and like so uncomfortable. If
Yeah.
there was more of that to like hint at like, okay, this is a really fucked up guy and
Right.
not just like, I mean obviously he's like gross, but like I don't know, I just feel like
and
I want the clues.
it would have actually, I think,
want the
constructed a good theme of like he felt the need to lie about like his mom is a drunk and his dad's dead in order to curry favor with these rich people, because the only reason why Felix took pity on him and his whole family likes him is because of his like poor circumstances and stuff. And it's like when Felix finds out and it's like that really uncomfortable scene, I feel like there could have been a theme of that in the ending of kind of like stabbing the rich people back, but not necessarily like killing all of them and ending it the way it did, but just kind of like getting back at them that wasn't just like killing them, you know? Like, there's just
like,
no theme for me. Like, there's almost a theme, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
Right.
What?
Right.
what?
Yes.
What are we doing?
She does Emerald deal with like very complex, interesting themes that I
Yes.
don't think are talked about
Yes.
much. I
Yes.
think, but they're so complex and so abstract
Yeah.
that you almost like you just can't come home with them.
Yeah. And they're almost like, I feel like the themes are almost like not fully explored. Like there's still so
Yeah.
much that's unexplored. Like our own like unexplored potential. Like even like with Carey Mulligan's character, like she's
Yeah.
plays such like a weird and random character, and then
Fire
like
character.
you like never see her again.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. There's so many things that again like feel just like a little bit half baked. Like cherry picking what is working for you and leaving the rest.
Yeah.
Which doesn't always work with like themes that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Because when it's incomplete, you're like unsatisfied by it. You know, you're like, well, but I know that this other thing is still true, and like, but we're not even going to talk about that because it's not serving the film.
And I really think she's okay with that because
Yeah.
because like I said, my favorite parts of her movies are how strong the aesthetic is. Like
Yeah.
there's so few directors I can point to where I'm like, oh, I know exactly what you were thinking when you were constructing the visuals for this movie. And like Saltburn in particular, I think has the strongest visual and like music, like everything put together theme than all of her movies. Yeah, it's the one that story-wise falls the most flat for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
is
I
a
wonder
bummer.
if she starts with like visuals and then tries and build a story around that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I actually know.
yes.
Not no. Me and my good friend Emerald Fennell, we've been chatting.
we get tea.
I just got off the phone with her. I was watching an interview that she did, particularly for Saltburn, in which she said that her characters come to her as imaginary friends, and that so like Oliver, which like good for her.
Yeah.
Oliver like came to her, and then she was like building the story around this character. She also says like one of the first lines he says in the movie is something like, "I never really loved him" or something like that, or "I wasn't really in love with him." And she was like, "That's the first thing that this character said to me when he came to me." And she was like, "And I knew I had to like tell his story and like figure out if he was lying to himself or lying to other people, if like he really
That's
loved him
really
or not."
interesting.
Which so I think she's like very which
Maybe
almost
she-
is like more flawed to me, that she's like character focused. You know what I mean? That she builds it around the character that
And
then,
not like story message
or
focused?
visually.
Visually focused.
I think it makes more sense for this film to come to her visually than it would like in terms of character, because I feel like the characters are one of the weaker parts and the visuals are the strongest.
Yes.
But I just think that's really kind of an interesting starting point.
I just like the discourse that this creates when comparing it to Promising Young Woman. Like Promising Young Woman, like we were just talking about it, like I feel like there's no right answer. Like this just feels like no, I know you could have done something better. You know, like Promising Young Woman, I think you could argue all day about what should have been done, other versions of it. Yeah. This, I'm like, no, I know there was another version of this.
There's another way.
Yeah. I know there's another way.
I've never wanted so badly to be in someone's mind before. Like, I don't know, when we were doing, like, our Lynn Ramsey deep dive, I was like, I don't think I want to be in her head. Like, I think that's probably scary.
I'm okay just watching whatever comes out.
She's got a handle. Yeah. But, like, with Emerald Fennell, like, I really, like, I want to know. Like, I wish I could be a fly on the wall when she was writing this. And, like, any talk she was having about it. Because I'm so fascinated by, like, where... like, what decisions were being made.
Right.
And what was out of her control that we don't know.
Right.
You know?
Interpreting art is so hard because, like, you don't know how much the writer knows, you know? Yeah. And it's like, you can come with your own interpretation of it, and you can be satisfied with that. But when people aren't satisfied, they really want to know the writer's interpretation.
Right.
And that's how I feel with her movies, where I don't know what my interpretation of it is, and I want to ask her.
Right. Yeah. Like, what are you getting out of this movie that I'm not picking up?
Yes, like, what should I be learning? Because I just feel like there's a disconnect for me.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what.
I watched an interview with her talking about Saltburn, and it was something about, like, showing how we're all, like, the vanity of the movie, and, like, how we're all just very, like, focused on ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
But the whole movie, there's a lot of other stuff there that doesn't have to do with that.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Very confusing.
I don't know.
This is kind of going back a little bit. I forgot I had found this quote from her regarding Promising Young Woman, but I also think this is kind of true of Saltburn too. She said, I like that response when people kind of laugh and then gasp because they feel bad for laughing. She said, that's my kind of favorite place to be. Which I think makes a lot of sense for
she does it.
her films.
She does it.
If that's her goal, she's great at doing that. Like, genuinely. She's definitely very good at doing that.
You're laughing uncomfortably at a lotot of things.
It just doesn't have any substance sometimes. Right. I'm like, I just really don't know how to feel. And maybe that's the point. Maybe she doesn't, what's the word? Maybe she doesn't know how I should feel.
Yeah. Like, she's not going into it, like, trying to tell us what to think.
Yes.
Yeah. But
which can be frustrating.
But, like, shock factor?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's the other thing I wrote is, like, this film was particularly gross. And I was like, is it gross as, like, foreshadowing for Oliver's character? Or is it just gross for shock value? And on my first watch, I'm like, this is just gross to be gross. And, like, I guess maybe you could argue that it is gross to, like, foreshadow, like, how crazy he is. But, like, I don't feel that when watching it. Like, I feel like it's just gross to shock me.
Freaky's gotta have something behind it, you know?
Yeah. If you're freaky comes from somewhere.
Like, if you're freaky, it's because of an issue you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And when I'm not being let in on, like, what his ulterior motives are, if I'm not even, like, being dropped hints, then, like,
it's like,
I think it's just for shock.
Yeah.
And I don't love when things do things for shock.
Like, I first heard about this movie because of all those moments in it that are so crazy.
Yeah.
But never once was it like, oh, it's a good story.
No.
You should watch this because it says something. It was just like, you gotta look at the bathtub scene.
Yeah. Or the grave scene.
Yeah.
Which honestly sucks because upon rewatching it, like, dude, the character work is so good. Like, all of the minor characters are so funny. Like, Richard Grant especially.
I love that actor too.
And I could not get over Rose Byrne. I was like, dude, she's so perfect in this. Like, there's just so much great stuff happening. Yeah, it's just we're almost there.
Yeah.
But we're not.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah.
That brings us to Wuthering Heights. In quotation marks. Wuthering Heights. So, when the cast for this came out in 2024, 2 years ago, it was immediately criticized because, for two things, Margot Robbie's character, Kathy, is a teenager in the books. Margot Robbie is not. And Jacob Elordi's character is discussed as being, quote, dark-skinned in the book, which, of course, Jacob is not. And this isn't the first adaptation.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Wuthering Heights. We're calling it Smooth Brain.
Smooth-brained.
This isn't... There's been many discussions of other adaptations who have also cast Heathcliff.
Tom Hardy famously played Heathcliff in an early adaptation.
I did not know that.
That's a white man right there.
Yes.
But Fennell says of her adaptation...
Oh, this is good.
Quote, I wanted to make something that made me feel like I felt when I first read it. which means that it's an emotional response to something. It's like primal, sexual.
And now,
end quote.
How old was she? She was what, like 14 when
I
she
believe
first
14
read
or
it?
15. So, and here's my thing, and I saw this opinion online, is that, like, it's fine that she made this movie. I just think it should have been, like, one of those adaptations, like, in the way Clueless is an adaptation of Emma, or 10 Things I Hate About You is an adaptation of Taming of the Shrew.
Interesting.
Like, you can...
Like, just really change it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna change it.
You can have characters named Kathy and Heathcliff. You can do whatever you want. I just think you can't get mad when people tell you this isn't a great adaptation of Wuthering Heights. Even if you put quotation marks around it, I think I think that puts, honestly, too much pressure on the film for it to be something else. Even, like, I think it's so fascinating, reading something and taking your own interpretation of it. And I think it's interesting seeing artists' interpretations of classic stories like this. I just think she can't get mad if people are like, dude, what the fuck happened? This film, if you didn't know, is loosely based on Emily Bronte's book Wuthering Heights. It stars Margot Robbie, Jacob Elordi, Hong Chow, Shazad Latif, and Alison Oliver, who we discussed. I know you guys have heard this in length, but I gotta tell the bros. So I feel this way, the same way I feel about Twilight, where I had a great time watching it. I thought I was entertained. I was laughing. I was cringing. I was kind of giggling sometimes because I was like, oh, the romance is working for me. Sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes I was like, oh my god, that's freaky. But I liked it, you know? I liked the aesthetic. I liked all the costumes. I love these. And I just think but I think it's the same way I feel about Twilight, where I'm like, I don't think this is something I could take 1,000% seriously. Yeah. And I think this is going to be a watch where I'm like, where the same people rewatch Twilight, where it's like, haha, this is crazy, but like I'm enjoying it.
Right. That's it's almost like bad in a funny way.
Yeah.
And there's no escaping that.
Yeah.
Like, I said this to you guys after the movie, but there's a lot of cuts in it where it abruptly cuts to something, and I think if it wasn't in a crowded theater where people started laughing, like, I wouldn't find it funny. Yeah. But it's funny for some reason. Yeah. Like, it just has this sense of humor around the movie, which I forget. I don't know if it was intentional or not.
I think that's what we talked about.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think it was meant to be a comedy.
Right. So it's like, something isn't working here.
I what I really didn't appreciate is how sometimes I'm like, I think it's okay we laugh, Emerald. I think you want us to laugh. And then sometimes she was trying to be really overtly romantic, and everything about the image was telling me that it was romantic, like the way their bodies were positioned, the way they were both dressed, the lighting, like everything about it screamed romantic to me, and yet it just wasn't. And I was like, I feel like you're trying to force this down my throat.
Right.
And I don't agree with it.
I think like truly the best way to watch this is in a crowded theater like we did. Like, which also is, like, surprisingly, like, it was, like, a Monday night, and, like, it was packed in there.
People were
and I had a great time.
I had a great time, too.
Like, high-key, I would go watch this again.
Right.
Like,
and I needed, like, the levity of the audience laughing
like,
at how absurd it is.
I know, like, this is, like, your Twilight. Like, for me, this is, like, another, like, Tron Ares, where, like, I, like, understand that, like, the characters are awful, the plot is weak, but, like, the visuals are, like, balls to the wall, the score is, like, really getting you through, and, like, for some reason, that's just, like, more than enough for me.
Yeah. It's just a banger.
Yeah, so, like, that's, like, kind of my experience with it. And also, like, if we want to get into the weeds of this as an adaptation, I've seen...
Which I think you're allowed to do, because she called it Wuthering Heights.
If
she named it anything else, I think she would be clear of this.
The quotation marks don't mean anything if you're going to name it the same way.
Hush with your quotation marks.
Yeah.
I've seen the discourse a lot, and of how, because she took the one character that is supposed to be a character of color, Heathcliff, and made him white, and then took two characters who are supposed to be white, which is Nellie and Edgar, and made them characters of color. I didn't know that. And because they're kind of like antagonists of the film, that there's sort of like this like interpretation of I'm gonna make my romantic lead a white man, but I'm gonna make the antagonist people of color, and how like that can be read pretty problematically. And I absolutely very much understand that interpretation. However, this is something I said to Beef earlier. I truly think this film is too stupid to say anything that problematic. I think I much love, much respect. I love you, Emerald Fennell. Keep making films, girl. But like, this film is not trying to say that like people of color are villains, because I truly don't think she put that much thought into it. Yeah. Like, I think she would have had to work really hard to like come to that conclusion in her mind. And I just think that she's so almost like lacking in. I can't. I think when she read this book and she missed over all the words calling Heathcliff a person of color, like dark-skinned, and like comparing him to like minorities, you know, like that she really truly just like blew past it, because she was like, in my mind, this is like my man's and it's like Jacob Elordi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I truly think when we're saying smooth brain, like, I really think that's how this adaptation is. Like,
she was 14 when she read it.
Yeah.
She had an interpretation of it, and she just kept that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure at some point she learned what actually happens in the book, but she was like, I don't care.
I'm going to honor my 14-year-old self, who probably had a crush on, like, some white guy and was like, this is who my Heathcliff is. And now she knows Jacob Elordi and she can cast him again. Like,
Dude. And you know what? I think that's okay. I just don't think you should call it Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should try to pass it off as, like, something that's really deep and you're telling this great love story that lasts generations. And
like, the marketing for this was, like, very much going into this is, like, a serious romance with a lot of substance. Yes. And it's beautiful. But there's not substance.
No.
There.
No.
I was, again, the ending. I was really disappointed by the ending, because, dude, that movie had me. I was in its clutches. I was like, this is crazy. You got freaking Isabella acting like a dog. That's insane. Jacob Elordi's crazy. Margot's crazy. Everyone's crazy. The dollhouse shot, that was sick.
I love
like,
that one.
I was there. I was in this movie's clutches, right? But then there just, like, wasn't a climax. Like, literally, so Heathcliff marries Isabella. In the movie. I'm talking about the movie. Heathcliff marries Isabella. Really wants Nellie to send this letter. Does not. Margot gets real sick. Real sick. And then Margot dies. Yeah. And then Heathcliff is like, what have I done? And then it's like, oh, flashback to when we were kids. And then movie's over. Right. And I was like, what happened?
It's just like
what?
Okay.
I know.
What's the climax?
It's so crazy, because there's so much potential, especially for Emerald as a director, because the book is really fucking weird. Because after she dies, she basically is a character as a ghost. Like, you see her character as a ghost. And then
I feel like Emerald would like that.
And even better, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Heathcliff digs up her body at one point. Kathy's body. I'm like, Emerald would have ate that shit up. Like, that would have been such a cool visual imagery for her. And then she just ends it.
Yeah.
I feel like the as I said, the marketing of it was so mass media, like so just general public can watch this movie and like Glock. Yeah. But the book isn't that, and Emerald has potential to not be that.
Yeah.
So what went wrong? Like, was it like was it the production or the producers being like, you can't go this far, like with Promising Young Woman, it's too dark.
Yeah.
Even though that is who she's trying to be as a director. Yeah.
I will say about Emerald Fennell, I am really excited for her career. I think she is a female director that can get a big budget, that can get some A-listers, and I think it's interesting that we have, kind of like Lynn Ramsey, like someone who is interested in exploring dark themes and is like willing to get freaky, and like I said, is beautiful visuals, like unlike so many other movies that come out recently, right? So I'm like really excited to follow her career. I really hope that she kind of just hones in on what she's trying to say.
Yeah.
because I think she's a good filmmaker. I think she could be a great filmmaker.
Yeah.
Like, I just think about all of her movies, and I'm like, dude, if you just took a little bit more time to write this, or took a little bit more time to think about the impact of this,
Right.
I think you could have had a 10 out of 10 film easily.
Yeah.
And I think she's so close to that, and there's just some sort of disconnect. But I don't know. I'm really excited for her career. I'm excited for all of her future movies. I'm sat in the theater, like, I'm there. And I just want more.
I don't know if this is going to make sense. It's almost like she is saying what she wants to say, but what she wants to say isn't actually saying anything at all.
Yeah.
You know, like, her films are complete. They have a story for the most part, but there's, I don't know. Is there a plot? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have another random question.
Yeah.
Do you think that Isabella wanted to be a dog, or was she like?
That's really confusing.
I was like, I can't tell if she's like playing along, trying to trick, or if she's actually being tortured.
I think
she likes
bro.
it, which is like
I think
again
she's
like
a freak, bro.
Feels like written by a man to like find a woman who enjoys like literally being a lapdog to the most toxic man you've ever met.
Right.
No, but like
feels like maybe that's a man's fantasy.
Yeah.
It was also just weird to me because like before Heathcliff gets Isabella, please correct me if I'm wrong and I don't remember, he's never abusive like physically towards Kathy. And then all of a sudden it's like, look out for Heathcliff. He's like the darkest man I know.
Well, I think he was only doing that to show
like a
Nellie, to make Nellie, right?
No, but like I think what Kimmy's saying is that Nellie's warning Isabella that Kathy is. He's like rough and brutal.
Yeah. And I was
but he's like not.
No, and then all of a sudden
He's
he
just a
is, and
guy.
I was like,
where did this come from?
Yeah.
Which again, like he is in the book.
Right.
He's horrible.
Right, so maybe that was something just pulled from the book that they didn't actually go.
Right.
They didn't explain that well.
I just don't know.
Yeah. I know, you can't just say that he's like evil having not seen that he's evil.
Right. Because before that, he's like, sweet little just loves Kathy.
Yeah.
Sad man gonna run away on the horse.
And I'm like, and I was kind of rooting for him. I was
Richmond.
like, dude, I would leave Kathy. Like,
She's fucked up.
Sucks.
She's
like,
horrible.
She treats you horribly. Like,
Leave her.
Go right out into the sunset.
Yeah.
You know, go be a pirate.
Right.
Like, whatever.
Also, why? I didn't understand why he came back. Like, when he put the eggs in her bed. I was like, why did he come back?
Well,
is it? Maybe it's in the book.
It's in the book. I mean,
I didn't get it.
yeah, it's supposed to be.
I should read the
He
book
wants to get revenge
and actually
on
understand.
Kathy and also on Edgar because Edgar gets to have Kathy. So in return, he's gonna marry Isabella. And in the book, he like literally abuses her, and she like barely escapes with her life, and like goes and gives birth to his son somewhere else.
That's crazy.
And then there's like all this fucked up shit he does with his kids and like Kathy's kids and like all this shit. But like, yeah, he like comes back to get revenge. And the way he's gonna get revenge is by taking Isabella from Edgar, and then abusing her.
Oh my god.
Literally, yeah,
I just.
yeah. That's maybe one of my bigger problems with this adaptation is the Isabella character because she is like an actual victim in the books, and like now we're reducing her to like a freak. Who's into it like the whole time.
Oh, she a freak.
Which like is kind of like a fun character to have.
Yeah.
Like this woman who like truly just like wants to, I don't know, like be dominated constantly and like physically, but like it feels
Like when you
highly
think about it, you're like,
convenient, and also like that's the one change with the context of the book that I'm like, I can't imagine a young woman reading about another young woman being abused and thinking that she's into it, and that's the kind of adaptation she wants to make.
that makes sense.
The like race changing makes sense for Emerald as Fennell is like a white woman from an affluent background. But yeah, the reduction of her own, you know, kind of like fellow woman to a sex.
Dude, as you said about people being
weird.
like thinking, as you said about Hong Chow.
Yeah.
And,
about that she's just too stupid.
But it's like I just don't think she's thinking about that. Like I think she was just like no, Isabella's a freak, bro. She's
feel like
into Heathcliff because it's Jacob Elordi.
Casting is something that like historically has been like a like we don't need to cast based on race. Like, that doesn't really matter. Like, for good and ill. But, like, so that makes more sense to me that, like, maybe she just really liked those actors and she, like, wasn't, like, she was like, I don't think it matters. And in some ways, maybe it doesn't. But for, like, to actually warp that character from, like, a victim to, like, into it is, like, a little bit more of a mental leap and more of a concerning take than just, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Jacob Elordi is hot and I want to cast him.
Yeah. But that's what I think she did, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say with, like, when you were saying, like, I'm excited to see her films, I'm definitely, like, interested to see what she does next. I think if we're talking about, like, a female director who's able to get a budget and to get A-listers and all this kind of stuff, like, I think it's somewhat questionable the types of stories she tells and the ways in which she chooses to tell them. And I think, like, I know a lot of frustration from her recently is from Wuthering Heights, and, like, I don't know, there is kind of an element there of, like, who do we give power over stories to, and whose right is it to tell them, and you know, when we're gonna give a big budget to a filmmaker, like, what is their moral take, what is the theme they want to explore, and, like, what would someone else's adaptation of Wuthering Heights be, and why do we not get to see their film, and what other stories will be told from a filmmaker who kind of lacks the critical thinking it takes to make an adaptation. What kinds of stories are those going to take away from other people who won't ever be given the chance to make their own films with big budgets? That's my thought.
Period.
Snap.
Still love her, though.
Snaps.
Still love her.
I think there's so many male directors that get to make really big budget flops.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think, again, and I don't, like I said, I don't think she makes just slops.
No.
Like, there's a lot of stuff I really like about her directing. But, like, I just feel like people seem, like, the discourse is, like, I just feel like she gets more shit than for, like, all these male directors that make, like, another movie with Jason Statham.
But you know what? What's funny for me, though, is I feel also complicated about that because on one hand, like, I genuinely think men are just kind of stupid. So, like, on one hand, I'm like, well, you know what? It makes sense that he made a flop. You know what I mean? Like, he's just a guy. His brain's only so big. What else is he going to do?
Yeah.
But when a woman does it, I'm like, I know that you're intelligent.
Yes.
I know that, like, your life is so different than a man's that, like, you shouldn't be coming to it from this angle.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when it does, it, like, almost hurts more to me than, like, when a man makes a bad film because I almost just expect that.
I want her movies to be so good. Like, so much of her stuff enthralls me.
And I assume she knows the other women who are watching it, knowing that it's a woman making the film.
Yeah.
Like, I would feel a certain sense of responsibility to, like, make them proud.
Yeah. Who you're telling stories for.
Yeah. And I don't feel proud.
Yeah.
Watching any of her films.
She's, like, so complicated.
She's very complicated.
Like, in terms of her style, her stories, her themes. I don't know what she wants me to take away from her. You know?
No. Right. Pretty images.
Pretty images.
Pretty images.
Which, banger, dude.
I mean, she
Great
definitely
job.
achieves that.
Great job. I just don't know. I don't know. Well,
what an interesting episode.
What a very interesting.
What a lot of
It's very
discourse.
complex.
Yes.
It's very complicated.
very complex.
But so are women. Women are just complicated people.
really
and, you know.
Do you guys, should we all say our favorites? If you have a favorite?
Sure.
I'm thinking about which one's my favorite.
I mean, it's not like I have a favorite. It's like I have one that I dislike the least.
Yeah, I hit it.
Which would be Wuthering Heights.
You know what? I was also going to say Wuthering Heights.
Her.
Even though highly controversial, despite everything I just said.
Yep. I think Promising Young Woman still has my heart. But
I don't know why. I mean,
yeah.
I'm saying Wuthering Heights because it was so beautiful.
It's so
the DP
beautiful.
Was Linus. What the hell is his last name? Linus Sandgren. I was gonna say Sam Green.
Genius,
He
dude.
has done so much, and he also did Saltburn. He did La La Land. He's doing Doom Part 3 apparently. Jay Kelly, Babylon.
Oh, Babylon.
First Man.
Like that's why it's. I'm not saying
Beautiful.
that's the only reason why it's beautiful, but
Yeah.
like, that's why we really like Wuthering Heights.
Yeah. Oh,
Fire.
and the
It was so
production
beautiful.
design. It's like
yes,
fire.
her
Yeah.
dresses.
it's like
Love
those are
it.
smart directing choices.
Right.
Because it feels like they all feel like dolls.
Yeah.
Like they all
Yes.
feel like.
And it's so heightened the
Yeah.
And
reality.
like it kept my eyes glued to the screen because I
Yeah.
was like yummy textures, colors, like
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
working. But just the story alone, would not have hooked me the whole time
No.
if it wasn't so fascinating to look at.
yeah.
I agree. Well, I'm curious what you guys think. Maybe you completely disagree with us.
Yeah.
I'd love to know why.
Me
Not to
too.
say
Me too.
you should disagree with us.
But you're more
you
than
should.
welcome to.
You definitely, please. Well,
Drop
anyway.
a hot take in the comments.
Yeah, hot take in the comments. Follow us,
Yeah. Like, comment, and subscribe.
like, comment, and subscribe.
Turn on notifications if you're on YouTube. That's something people say.
And what's our next episode?
It's TBD. Oh yeah, because
Oh.
last week we said we might have a special guest, and obviously there's no special guest. No. So maybe some week coming up we'll have a special guest.
I will say, keep watching Oscar movies.
Oh yeah,
Because we'll discuss them.
We'll discuss Oscars.
I think mostly Best Picture nominees we'll discuss.
Yeah.
You
All the
might see us
acting.
in the woods.
Oh yeah, you might see us in the
might see us
woods.
in the woods.
I don't know. I'm just
sometime.
throwing it out there.
But anyway, I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you thought some. And that's it. That's all I have to say.
Go to movie theaters.
Go
to
watch
movie
Wuthering Heights in
theaters.
theaters.
I actually
mean,
do go and make sure it's like a packed theater. Like if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah.
if you know only Friday nights are gonna be packed,
Yeah,
go
go.
on a Friday
Just
night.
go.
It's great.
Even if you don't see Wuthering Heights, just go to a movie.
Go to a movie. Go to
These
any movie.
movies.
Any movie.
Any of them. Yay.
That's it. Bye.
Bye.